Hello, Diaspora family. I hope you are all well wherever you are. Today we are talking about when businesses back home turn into loss. That's what we are talking about today. So, family, so many of us in the diaspora invest back home with hope. Yeah, we do invest back home with hope. But for that dream, sometimes it turns into pain, and sometimes it turns into silence and loss. Today, let's talk about the truth. What really happens, family? Why diasporans invest back home? Usually, sometimes it's about emotional connection. Kumba kwedu. Techingoti kumba kwedu regai tiwane zvekuita kumba kwedu because ndokwatakabva, so we need to do something there because that's the only back home that we have. So that's kind of an emotional thing. And there's a desire to retire back home. A lot of us family, we desire to retire back home. So we end up saying we have to do something back home. We have to invest back home. We have to make sure that we do something tangible back home. And then sometimes we are just supporting family and creating a generational wealth. Yeah. So when it comes to supporting family like that, we just want something like creating like a generational wealth where I say my grandchildren will benefit from this, the family may benefit, we are just creating something generational. And there's also belief that money stretches further back home. Yes, people believe that, family. People believe that back home, money stretches further. There's that belief. Well, some people may say no, but that belief is there. And there's also pressure. Uri kunze saka kunze kune mari, so you know, feel good. At least I'm outside, so there's money outside. Let me do this. Let me try to invest back home. Yeah, that pressure is there as well. Kunze kune mari uku, because uri kunze kune mari kana uri kunze mimi. So when things start going wrong, where do things now start going wrong, family? So there's this trusting of family that diasporans have. That trusting. We trust friends, we trust our family, and we just trust them without any systems. That's what we do. We just trust, just ordinary trust. No systems, no nothing, no written agreements. Just doing on trust, based on trust. I'm doing this based on trust. Ndinowanzwisisa, ndinovimba navo ihama dzangu, shamwari dzangu takagara tese stereki, saka I trust them, ndinovimba navo. That's trust. No written agreements. And then we tend to mix business with emotions as well. That's another issue of mixing business with emotions. We assume they wouldn't do that to me. That assumption of thinking that family will not do this to me, friends will not do this to me, that's assumption. There's that assumption that we have. So sometimes sending money in bits with no tracking as well. We just send money in bits and pieces. There's no tracking, just sending. And then that's what happens now. So the thing is, family, we don't lose money first. No, it's not about losing money first. It's about losing the clarity, because there's no clarity on everything that we do. So it's not about money in the first place. It's about that clarity part of it. And then we can speak generally about the project that never starts. The projects that never start. How many of you family have done projects back home that never start? How many of you have engaged in family or friends asking for a project, asking for assistance on a project that never started? ndipewo mari da kutenga mabhero, ndipewo mari da kuita zvakati. You give them money, but the projects will never start. Tafunga kuti tivake imba kuno, we need to start building a house. If you give us money, we can buy a stand for you, and then you can build houses on a piece of land. Land is quite cheap here. You send money, the project never start, the house never get built. So family, we have all done this. Yes, we have all done this. And how many houses have been half built and then they stop halfway? They've been built, yes, the project starts, but then it stops halfway. Kungomira kungonzi zvamira. Pasina kana tsananguro yekutoti zvamira sei. And then business is running, but no profits report. Business will start running, but no profit. You ask, how is the business doing? Zviri kuita. And then at the end, ndizvozvo. But is there no profit? You're just doing anything, you're just selling. You open a shop, and then there are no profits. Nothing. Also, then these Maria Kajgiwa explanations. How many of Maria Kajgiwa explanations did you come across? Maria Kajgiwa, Maria Kajgiwa, Maria Kajgiwa nani? Who ate the money? So you continue to hear all these stories, family. All these stories will continue to pop up. Maria Karasika, Dakabirwa Mari, Dakazeta say, all these things start popping up. They all start coming up. So the real cost behind all these things is broken trust, family. There is broken trust. You trust somebody and they break the trust. A lot of people have broken trust. So it's very difficult when you trust somebody and the trust suddenly is broken. It's very difficult. And then there is family conflicts. Family conflicts will arise. And then you start pointing fingers at one another. You start pointing fingers at friends. And then there's all these things. And then on this side, you end up having depression, stress, because you are just thinking about it. You have lost your money, you've lost everything. And then you start thinking about it. All this depression and everything, they start kicking in. And then you end up starting avoiding to go home. You end up not interested in going back home because you are just depressed, you are annoyed, you are just, it's painful. And then you think, I'm not going to go back home. You avoid going back home. And sometimes you just silence yourself. You just end up being silent. And this silence is because of, sometimes it's because of the shame. You are ashamed of everything that has happened because you were not organized. You didn't organize everything. You just trusted and you didn't get anything to account. So that's the other thing, family, that you end up having. Shame. Yes. So sometimes, family, the money hurts less than the betrayal. You see? The money hurts less than the betrayal. So it's in these instances, it's more of the betrayal that will hurt you more than the trust itself. You see? So than the money itself. So you see that sometimes mari chaichaya haikurwadzi, but zvinoitwa zvacho zvokuti munhu waunenge uchitrasta anokuitira zvinhu zvinorwadza, izvozvo ndo zvinonyanya kukurwadza more than the money itself. Because mari unenge uchiti mari ini ndogona kushanda imwe, but betrayal iyi unoipedza sei, ndo zvinozonyanya kurwadza izvozvo. So why sometimes do we end up staying quiet? Why is that? Because sometimes there's fear of embarrassing family. Because you have dealt with family. So now you have that fear of embarrassing them. So you stay quiet instead of embarrassing them. And there's this cultural expectation as well. Zvokuti unenge uchingonzi iwe ingonyarara, zvine basa rese ingonyarara, unobveyo ukanyarara, ingosiyana nazvo zvakadaro, ingosiya zvipere zvakadaro. That cultural expectation, family, yes, it's there as well. And then we end up exercising that one because you don't know what to do, so you end up just exercising that cultural expectation yekunzi unenge vanhu vachingonzi chingonyarara iwe chingosiyana nazvo and you are still hoping things will turn around as well. Unenge uchifunga kuti zvairi family pamwe zvichachinja, pamwe uchanzwa kutaurwa imwe story iri positive about it, so you don't know. You end up just having a bit of quietness, expecting all these things, So family, the hard truths that diasporans, that we must accept, is that it doesn't matter that it's family. It doesn't matter is that it's a close friend. There must be accountable. There must be some kind of accountability, family. There must be some kind of answerability. People need to answer for what they do. Let them be accountable. You have to ask them. Yes, ask them. Don't just stay quiet. And then distance requires structure, not hope. Distance itself, it requires structure, not hope. Because we can't just do things by hoping. Oh, I want to do this and I hope it will come out. Ndongovimba kuti zvichaita zvakanaka. Tinongovimba kuti zvichafamba zvakanaka, regai tiite. Regai nditumire mari yacho. Ndinoimba zvinofamba zvakanaka. No. It's not like that. We don't need hope to do this business back home or whatever, sending money back home. We don't need to do it by hope. No. It shouldn't be through hope, family. We should make structures. We should do things structurally. That's what we should do. And then love and business need boundaries, family. Love and business need boundaries. We can't just work like that and then we say, oh, I love my family. Love and family is two different things. You love them, yes, but business is business. That's the thing. We need to set boundaries. We need to set boundaries, family. It's not documented, it's a donation. Did you hear that well, family? If it's not documented, then it's a donation. You give your family, you give your friends money, you don't document it, it's a donation. So don't ask for it. If you give them, you don't document, you don't say anything, you don't ask for accountability, you don't ask for answerability, you have just donated. Because you haven't documented anything. You haven't said, I have given this, you have given you this money, and you have received this money. So it's just like a donation. That's what hurts most of us. Because by the time you realize that it was a donation, it hurts you more. So family, you now know that this is what happens. And it's happening. So how do we reduce the risk, family? How do we reduce this risk? And family, this is not just advice. It's not advice. It's just heavy. But it is. It is heavy on us. But what we need to do, family, to reduce all this is we need to separate family from management. Yes, we need to separate family and friends from management. Don't allow your family to manage your business. Don't allow your family to manage your project. Don't do that. Use written agreements, even if it's a simple one. Just make a simple agreement and say, we agree to do this, you have agreed to do this, and then you sign. Just a simple agreement to sign. Start small, and then you test trust. And then you demand reports, not stories. Yes, start your business or a project. Just start a small thing, and then ask, you'll be testing the trust. Yes, you better test the trust, because if you don't test the trust, then if anything happens, then you blame yourself for nothing. So you just start very small, and you can demand for reports, and then don't ask for stories. No ask for asking for stories. Refuse stories, family. That's what we need to do. Accept walking away early is wisdom. Yes, if you accept to walk away early, That's wisdom. That's being clever. Yes, say, no, I've sent you £1,000 and now I'm stopping. I've sent you $800. I have to stop here. Don't leave it to go on and on and on, family. Don't. Because the minute you leave it to go on and on and on, you are creating more trouble for yourself. So, family, let me ask you questions. At what point does support become self-destruction? At what point does support become self-destruction? We see that we are destroying ourselves through support. So at what point do you think it will become self-destruction? And how much loss is too much? How much loss is too much, family? How much loss is too much? Is going back home still a dream or a lesson? What do you think, family? What do you think? So, family, if this ever have, if what we are talking about has happened to you, you are not alone. You are not alone, family. You need to share your story. If you are comfortable, your story may save someone else. Yes, if you are comfortable, family, just share your story, because your story may help somebody else, family. For today's family, I thank you, and I'll see you again next time.